Thank you for staying with us. Elections lie at the heart of democracy and remain the primary means through which individuals exercise their rights to participate in public affairs. In Nigeria, every citizen has the right to vote and be voted for without discrimination to culture or religion. But previous elections have had various persons attacking campaign convoys and inciting violence on other citizens, which leaves room for human rights violation. The amended 2022 Electoral Act says that every citizen above 18 has the right to support and vote any candidate without any influence or coercion of any kind, which may distort the free expression of the voter. Well, joining us in the studio to discuss more on human rights as regards the election is the Executive Director, Human Rights Advancement Development and Advocacy Center, Ayodele Ameen. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. When you assessed the presidential election and the National Assembly election, February the 25th, what did you see? Was there a shift with regards to the human rights, adhering to the human rights of every Nigerian at the election? What did you observe?
I think let me start by explaining what the human rights implication of election means.
All right.
Then we can understand whether there's this shift or not. I think the first thing is make sure that the right to vote is sacrosanct. Everybody should have the right to vote that qualify to vote in accordance to the law. Okay? Then secondly, when you have the right to vote, there are other conditions that need to be abide with. Every government must aim to ensure free and fair election. Free and fair election is within human rights connotation. People do ask, can an election be free and not fair, or be fair and not free? But we need to understand what that means. A free election is an election in which a lot of the human rights, are respected and abide with, like freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of associations. But for election to be fair, there are certain basic conditions. One of it is it must be non-discriminatory.
Right.
Two, it must be a genuine election. It shouldn't be an election that most of the military leaders do before and just think it must be a genuine election. But it will also be an election that is based on one person, one vote. Okay. So if you meet that criteria, then you can say, yes, the election is fair. So when you look at the 2023 election, then you can start to look at the incident that happened. We recorded about 216 human rights incidents around this election. Really? But the question we need to ask ourselves, which is basic, is that when people partake in electoral process, from the point of joining a political party or just voting, did they actually sign up their life to say, within this process, I can be killed? So an election where people died cannot pass the test of human rights. Because it's not war. It is a process. It's not even a single event. So we recorded 187 people killed unlawfully in this election.
187?
87, yes. From pre-election.
Pre-election?
Pre-election.
No, we're talking of election day.
Yeah, I come to that. From pre-election, election day, and post-election. We recorded this. And to us, that is very concerning.
What happened pre? Can you break it down? What happened pre?
I think a report. You are talking of extrajudicial execution. That is killing by members of the security forces. You are talking about political motivated death, whereby you are killed because of political position or to have a political advantage. But we are also talking about politically related death. Maybe you are killed while you are going on a campaign trip, or you suffocated during a campaign. So we put all this together. And surprisingly, you will be able to find out that, because when you look at the risk analysis done before the election, and you have hotspots, where you have states that are hotspots. But surprisingly, when we put all these figures together, you discover that Katsina came third in the pre-election period. And they lost about 80-something.
Is this related to banditry?
Well, some of it are communal. And communal means that, for example, if we are going to have an election next week, okay, and you have a communal violence, that will encourage apathy towards the election. Okay, so we are not tracking communal deaths that are not related to the election. We are talking about human rights friendly environment for election. And then, so you look at that, and you look at also election day, okay? And then but let me also state clearly that there are about 11 states that actually have no human rights incident. No violence, no one died.
States are these?
There are about 11 of them, and I can just kind of get it for you now. So we have a state like Yobe is part of it. Then we have Oyo. We have Oyo. We have just 1 minute. So we have Adamawa, Zamfara, Sokoto, Bayelsa, Oyo, Plateau, Ekiti, Osun, Nasarawa, and Niger State. It's possible for us to have election without all these infractions.
Zamfara is interesting to me because Zamfara has been a flashpoint of violence the past few years.
Yes, but those are not violence related to elections. Yeah. So these are the things that and let me just break down the figures for you to actually understand. Okay? In pre-election, the total number of unlawful killing were 150 in pre-election period. And for that, Katsina have the highest number, which is 87. 41 people were killed in Bankori.
Related to the election?
Yes, related to the election. 3 were killed in Jabia and 43 in Kankara. Benue have the second highest, okay, which is pre-election, which is 12 unlawfully killed in Gua, Benue State. Now, for the election day,
somebody will have wondered why, in spite of all the trouble in the southeast, they are not related to election.
No. Yeah. So that is why for us, one of the most important things is to be able to analyze all these figures. These figures are out there. It's just that we are not collating it and analyzing it. And to be able to see how do we plan for election and take into cognizance. Because from this figure, you could see that it's not the election day that is that have the highest figure. And the security forces needs to kind of try to take an evaluation of that and to say, how do we secure life?
Instead of focusing on just
the election
days.
And of course, people will say that, okay, maybe it's normal for people to. It's not normal. We have countries in Africa that have had elections where nobody died. We covered and we released a report on the 2018 annual election, and I think about 7 people died in the entire country. And in Gambian election, which just happened in 2021, December, nobody died. It's the first country, in fact, of what the work we have been doing, where on election day, there is no single human rights incident. People went out and voted, nothing happened. Nobody was injured, no property was destroyed, nobody was killed.
From Nigerian point of view, that's a very boring election.
Exactly. But we also say that
but boring is good.
Well, I think one of the things we need to think about is that we take election as an event. We need to start looking at our election as a routine. You know, in so many countries, they don't declare holiday on election day.
In the US, you go to work on election day. Then maybe you're during your break.
I was having a discussion with
vote and come back.
I was talking to some people yesterday. We should get to it where you can even vote from your house or from anywhere.
It's getting to that point.
And they say, oh, come on, we are not at that level.
But with the challenges we are facing with the IREV and with the attacks
we'll get
on the
there.
system.
At least we didn't have beavers before.
Exactly. I think the first guy that actually mooted the idea that people should actually have access to their money without coming to the bank was laughed at in the 70s.
Yes.
But today, it's a possibility.
No, it's
today,
not a possibility. I can
so
say,
today it's happening.
Send me 5,000 naira. You just need to me.
Many people don't go to the bank.
You don't need to go to the bank.
You go to the ATM, you go to the POS, you don't go to the bank. We should get our election to that level. You know, it's a work in progress, but I think we are moving forward. But for us, in terms of what we covered, we are really not happy that people are still, because the implication is severe.
Right.
Now, we have good people, we have technocrats, we have professionals who can actually help us in developing our country.
Please tell us, how many, the breakdown statistics on election day?
Yes, on election day, I can just give you the figure. On election day, we lost 12 people in the whole country on election day.
The states.
Yeah, on election day, we have lost 12 people. And then on
where?
Where? The location?
Abia,
okay.
Rivers, Edo, Akwa Ibom.
Those are not.
That's 6.
Rivers State,
Okay.
Abia State, Edo, Akwa Ibom.
That's 8.
That's 8.
Okay, I think there is 2 more.
Okay.
But it's in our report. Okay,
but why is it that all of this happened in the Niger Delta, the one you've mentioned?
Well, we are not creating it. We are
but
peculiarities of where it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
We are peculiarities of where it's coming from.
Exactly.
That's the issue.
We are recording what is happening and what is where it's coming from, and we are not recording it just for the purpose of analysis. We are recording to see what can we recommend, what can we.
No, but if you don't analyze, how do you recommend?
No, I'm not just for the purpose of analysis.
Okay.
We have a very robust recommendation to.
But you should have taken done a geopolitical analysis of those deaths. Why is it that they're happening? They're neighbors. Akwa Ibom, Delta, Edo, and so they're neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also we know that in many of states, and the way people perceive elections, the way people, like what the INEC chairman have just said, that it's not war, it's something we need to work on. You will see that when we are preparing for election, there is a lot of investment into security forces, into INEC, but there is no investment into political parties. Nobody is engaging with political parties to say, these are the implications if you are encouraging or motivating this kind of things. These are the punishment, and these are, we have called.
Well, that's why we have electoral laws. We have electoral laws.
Yeah,
and,
but we have electoral laws. We have
to punish people
exactly,
who commit electoral offenses.
But we invest in police. We train them, okay. But we are not putting the same level of investment into.
You have to analyze what you mean by investment. It's kind of.
There are a lot of donor funding that has gone into security forces, gone into training to ensure peaceful
in
election.
terms of parties.
Yes,
what I'm saying.
but in terms of the political parties, because whether you like it or not, they have a very strong link to what is happening.
Right.
Either tried by their supporters or by their thugs. I just give you a good example.
So how do you invest? When you use the word investment?
Yeah, I just want to give you an example that when we covered the election in Sierra Leone in 2018, something strange happened. Before the declaration of the result, okay, the ruling party then, which is APC, were the people committing the atrocity and the human rights violations. So they were the perpetrators, the SLPP were the victims. The moment the result was announced and SLPP won, the SLPP members and thugs became the perpetrator and APC became the victims.
In Sierra Leone?
In Sierra Leone.
Yeah, APC, people don't think.
No, it's not Nigeria.
That's what I had to mention. Sierra Leone.
The APC Sierra Leone. So when I was presenting the report to the vice president of the country, I make it clear that I can't understand how somebody that is strong before the election then become a prey after the election.
Not strong. It means that they're not strong before the election.
No, we told that the source of violence is here where I'm sitting, which is the presidency. And that is why they need to address issue of impunity. There was a particular case whereby a journalist was beaten with a dog chain by members of a political party. And the journalist in Sierra Leone, and the guy ended up in hospital. So they complained to the political party, which is Sierra Leone Journalists Association, and the party wrote back to the association saying, we are sorry for what happened. These are the people that did it, but we apologize. 2 days after, the journalist died. What else does the police need? A person has been identified by people who are members of his association. And I discussed it with the Deputy Inspector General of Police to say, look, you need to take this forward. You need to address the issue of impunity. And if you don't address it, we know the problems around it. You know, some of these people need to be prosecuted by the state, and the Attorney General may not be willing to do so. But these are things that we can't give up on. We need to sanitize our elections.
So I'm certain you have been monitoring Nigeria's election as well.
Yes,
and so what kind of engagement have you been having with regards to the reports you've been making?
What of post? You didn't go, sorry, before that, the figures after the election.
Post-election, I can give you that figure.
Okay.
Sorry, 1 minute. So for the post-election, we have 20 unlawful killing for the post-election. And Kano have the highest. And in that incident, you have 10 law enforcement officers were killed, 7 members of NNPP, and 3 unnamed people. And that happened, Kano have the highest in that.
So that means half the number is Kano.
Yes,
exactly. The rest?
But when you
What of the rest?
No, I think there is total unlawful killing on post-election. They were 20. Okay, and that is 17 that have counted plus 3. That is 20.
Oh, all the 20 happened in Kano?
No, Kano have 17. 3 were unnamed.
Oh, Kano had 17.
Yes, in a particular incident that happened.
No, but you didn't mention the one that was the one that happened in the east.
But
the man who was killed after they announced that that Tinubu had won, and they killed him.
But there's also
Arari or Ariri or something.
No, we have all those this in our chat.
So you have to add on to
No, it's already in our report. I'm just.
Oh, you say 3 unnamed. 3 unnamed.
No,
that was one. You need to add that one.
There was also.
I'm sure he will add that.
You didn't record. I'm telling you that.
I have the.
You said 3 unnamed. There's one. I'm telling you.
When I say,
I'm telling you.
When I say unnamed, you can see that even the one I've mentioned.
I'm naming one of them for you.
No, we deliberately did not want to put. You know, when I say 10 law enforcement officers, I didn't name them.
Yeah.
When I say 7 NNPP, I didn't actually name them. Because at times, some of these things, you need to have a discussion with their family. For example, the guy that was killed in Ondo State, you know, a party agent who was playing a civil role, was shot dead by a soldier.
But this one is public knowledge. Now.
Yeah.
The one that they killed.
But he still needs the family's consent.
Yeah, family consent. They don't need family consent when it's already in the news.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
For their own organization.
But we know we have our own policy to make sure that when we write our report.
But you didn't need family consent to get the information of the 17 in Kano.
But I told you that I didn't put their names.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So back to the engagement you have had after monitoring Nigeria's election.
In 2019, we monitored the election and we released a report jointly with the National Human Rights Commission. Okay, we are members of the Nigerian Situation Rooms, so we assess data and we engage with other agencies. We wrote to the political parties to furnish us with information when their members are victims. Of course, they are not going to furnish information when their members are perpetrators. So, but we also came up, the most important part of all this.
How do you deal with that, though?
Yeah, because the other party will name them. Other people, we have multiple sources of verification.
Right.
But the major sign for us is taking forward the recommendations. For example, we have continually called on the Inspector General of Police to investigate each of these cases and make sure that those who are involved, if found wanting, are prosecuted, okay, and punished so that the victim can get justice. And we are engaging with the National Human Rights Commission as well to be able, as the body, to be able to take some of this case forward. But we also pick up a lot of lessons. But also let me mention, this report is not just about people that died. It's a report that when you pick it, you will understand Nigerian elections in all the reports we do. So we have, like the chapter 2, go into the background of historical background of elections. So we have a chapter on the role of INEC. We have a chapter devoted to the new electoral act. What are the special features 2023 elections, from the party primaries to Emilokon to Article Gate to Obedient. We have all these issues so that even for non-Nigerians, by reading this report, you can understand the story behind the election.
Now, have you compared these figures with previous elections?
Yes, I think in 2019, we have 176 people that were unlawfully killed. So it's kind of higher.
Higher than this one?
No, this one is higher, this 187. Okay, but in 2015, that figure, even on what we call election celebration, in 2015, 100 people died.
Just during the celebration?
That is between Kano and Katsina, just celebrating that Buhari won.
So people were killed?
They were not killed, they died celebrating.
They died of happiness?
Happiness, yes, because they are riding bikes, having accidents.
That's not violence, that's joy.
But what is that?
It's related
that's
to
joy
the
death.
election.
It's related to the election.
Yes.
But what we...
No, but you have to categorize that because it's not.
I want to tell you.
No. When you use violence like that, people would think that one group was fighting another group. No, they died of joy.
No, but that is just joy.
He said he didn't mention violence.
They had accident.
He said,
but we talk about political related
death. Talk about political think of violence.
But I'm just starting on 2019.
It's how do you call it? Self-violence.
It's not self-violence.
They kill themselves.
Yeah, but the point is that you expect political actors to calm their supporters. Because
how do you calm
supporters those who are happy?
Well, the point is that...
They died of happiness.
But I'm not sure that the candidate was certain that people will die because he won.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
It's not that's the candidate's fault.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying this is what we recorded. But even in 2015, just in Rivers alone, because I was part of Chidodi Kano Commission of Inquiry as kind of a support technocrat, we recorded about 100 people just in Rivers State.
Yeah, but I can understand Rivers State.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a flashpoint of violence.
Yeah. So 2015 figures were higher.
Those ones were not died. They didn't die of happiness.
No. That is
they died
politically
of
motivated death. And it was serious. You have situations whereby people, there's a particular incident where in the public area we have somebody relate where the family members were locked up in their room and burnt to death. We shouldn't be getting our election to that level. So we hope and we can continue to work to ensure that the next election, I can come back here and say nobody died. No property was destroyed. Nobody was injured. We really need to work, and we all need to work towards to make sure that happens.
Tell me how technology can help reduce human rights violation, or how it has helped. Because the numbers you are telling me, if you go back to 2003 and so on, the numbers are going to be much higher.
Yeah. If you go to the Western.
Yeah, because for instance, nobody is carrying ballot papers because it makes no sense. Because the issue of the whole concept of carrying ballot paper is surrounded by debt and suffering.
Of course.
Yes. But there's nobody to carry, because where are you carrying it to?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
But however, I will say that technology is important. For example, the use of beavers helps to encourage fair elections. It helps in a situation whereby we are looking at a situation whereby one person, one vote, okay? And no matter what people say about beavers is working. It might not work 100%, but it helps. You get to the polling unit, or our staff are there monitoring this. You are accredited, by your finger or by your iris, and then you go and vote. That helps. The Electoral Act has also helped. A single vote, more than total number of accredited voters, is cancelled polling unit elections. Yeah. So
but what you are saying now shows that there's substantial compliance to the. From what you have said, when you have said we had 700 and something polling.
170.
770 something thousand polling units, And the incidents you have mentioned there shows that comparatively it's isolated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. But also, like I said, let's look at the future.
Quickly, yeah.
Let's look at a situation whereby election is not just a single-day event. You have a situation in some countries whereby you have 1 month
Extended
to vote.
days, yes.
So you can,
I was going to quibble
We
with
need
you
to wrap
about what
it
the
up.
meaning of free and fair election
yeah,
is.
but let me
up.
just mention something quickly. We are also very concerned about the number of votes.
All right.
27%.
Ayodele Ameen,
It's not
we have to
good
let
enough.
things go now. The Executive Director, Human Rights Advancement, Development and Advocacy Center. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring